Hello and welcome to 8.2 Health Consultation. Today I'll be analysing Client 1 and giving some recommendations. To begin with, there are constants and choices about my client. Constants are things that they cannot control, for example genetics. This could be a line of health disease that runs through the family. There are also things such as age, gender and illnesses such as depression. Choices are bits my client can control, such as their weight, nutrition and hydration. All these things my client can control, but it's about whether they make the correct decisions to decide their outcome. Here is my client's heart rate in comparison to the normative data that I've labelled in the chart. This is an average heart rate. Next we have my client's blood pressure. As you can see, they are under the category of pre-high blood pressure. Again, we have normative data next to my client's body mass index. He is labelled overweight. For lung function, my client's data is at 620, which is slightly below where they should be considering height and age. Finally, we have their waist to hip ratio. This is laid out next to the normative data chart and shows where my client is at. As part of my analysis, I evaluated and recommended the sections which are laid out on previous slides. These goals, their physical activity, nutrition, lifestyle and physical health. Firstly, goals. The client had a basic outcome to lose 4 stone in a year. They prefer a style of long-term goals, but said that they lack commitment to achieve the goals that they want to set out. I recommended that they set targets for the end of each week so that it becomes easier to achieve them. This is a short-term goal and therefore it's repeated and can be much easier to achieve. The client said that they lacked commitment and that commitment was difficult sometimes, but enthusiasm to improve their commitment was shown. Physical activity. The client is unfortunately sat down for 8 hours a day due to their occupation as a dentist. There is little physical activity throughout the day, but they moderately exercise for 2 hours at the weekend. I recommend that they get up and about as much as they can throughout the day. They can set reminders on their phone so that they can remember to get up and keep moving. Also, a HIIT session once a week could improve activity and help lose weight. This is a quick and fairly easy form of exercise that helps lose weight quickly and is sometimes better to other forms of exercise. Next up is nutrition. The client eats 3 to 4 of his 5 a day and cooks a lot of his own meals, healthy meals. Their hydration is good as they drink somewhere in between 1 to 1.5 litres a day. I've recommended that a small amount more of water is consumed throughout the day, as the correct consumption should be between 2.5 to 3 litres. Otherwise, my client's nutrition is very good. Lifestyle. My client consumes a pint or 2 every weekend. They do not smoke, they are financially stable and not regularly stressed. I've taken into account that these answers to my questions can be biased as they are quite personal, so they could be lying, but I've taken that into account. I recommend that my client should cut down on alcohol consumption at the weekend, maybe from 2 beers to 1 or none at all, as beer is highly calorific and ends up being stored as fat if not burned off. Physical activity and health. After evaluating my client, I found that there are no obvious problems shown at this time. There are also no health diseases that run in the family, therefore I have no recommendations at this current time. I also evaluated tests and checks of the body. I then gave strengths and then areas that could be improved. Firstly, heart rate. This was at 71 beats per minute, which is an average heart rate. We can still reduce this to a much fitter heart rate through cardiovascular exercise. Next was blood pressure. This was at 136/82. The only strength that I can take from this was the client was aware of the issue and keen to sort it out and improve it. We can also improve this blood pressure by reducing weight, as this puts less pressure on the body and blood that is forced around the body. My client's BMI was labelled as overweight. A positive to gain from this is that it motivates the client to want to get fitter and healthier. Losing weight will help the client achieve a better BMI score, which is the area for improvement. Next is the waist to hip ratio. My client is deemed healthy. This is positive, but to improve this, we could achieve an excellent waist to hip ratio. My client can lose weight. This is one way of achieving the goal. Finally, the peak flow test revealed that my client needs to improve their lung capacity. This can be achieved through cardiovascular exercise, improving oxygen and taking in more and exhaling more as well. I now have some overall recommendations for my client. The first one is the physical activity. This surrounds the occupation of my client. My client drives to work, and this decreases their physical activity. One way we can sort this out is in the next slide. The second is physical activity, occupation and the lifestyle. My client has a busy lifestyle, has little time to exercise and stay fit. And third, lastly, is the lifestyle surrounding alcohol. Lewis's intake of alcohol is about 5 units a week. This occurs at the weekend. It's not moderated, sometimes called binge drinking. We can find a way to achieve less units a week. So for the first one, he's driving to work. Instead of driving all the way to work, he could park further away if possible. Leave the house earlier, so he can park further away and walk, or fast walk to increase the physical activity all the way to work. This is very small, but it is something that helps a lot of people. Number 2, the physical activity surrounding occupation. Because Lewis has a busy lifestyle, as soon as he is at home from work, he can do a 10 to 15 minute HIIT session. This is quick and fairly easy, and some say this reduces more fat than continuous training. It's an aerobic training and is good for him. It's quick enough that does not get in the way of his busy schedule. The last one is the lifestyle surrounding alcohol. Instead of Lewis consuming 2 or more pints at the weekend, he can consume 1, and this will reduce the calorie intake and therefore help reduce fat and help him to lose weight. Because he does not do a lot of physical activity at this time, the beer and the calories in the beer are getting stored as fat because he does not burn them off, or does not have time, or energy to burn them off. This is the end of my PowerPoint. Thanks very much for listening.